Good morning, African Stars International School learners. I'm Miss Helma, your grade 5 Nature Science teacher. Welcome to your Nature Science e-learning lesson 6, term 2, and our topic for today is sources of heat and light. Now, sources of heat and light, okay? So heat can be obtained from other objects other than the sun. Remember last time we were talking about the sun as a source of heat and light, okay? But then it's not the only source of light. It can light and heat can be obtained from other objects. Let's find out about these objects. Now, the different sources of light and heat, okay? Heat and light can be obtained from fire, from a candle, from heaters, from solar panels, and from lamps, okay? So, it can be obtained from fire, candle, heaters, and other sources of heat that are not named here. I just listed few. Now, the effects of heating and its uses, okay? So plants grow in spring when the weather becomes warmer, and in industry heat is used in brick making process and also in iron and steel industry, okay? So heat is used by plants to grow, okay? And it's also used in industry, of course, in brick making process and also in iron and steel industry, okay? And at home heat is used for cooking and also to keep us warm. That's why people use they use heaters, especially during this time of the season, winter time, to keep us warm or to keep them warm. Now, let's talk about expansion and contraction, okay? Expansion and contraction. Now, what is expansion? Now, this is a process whereby objects become bigger when heated, okay? A process whereby objects become bigger when they are heated is called expansion, okay? And contraction, this is a process whereby objects become smaller when cooled, okay? The process whereby objects become smaller when cooled, that's contraction. Okay, now let's look at the example of contractions and expansion. Okay, now rocks in the desert expand during the day, okay, as the sun heats them, and then they contract in the night when there is cooler air or when the air is cool, okay? So rocks in the desert, they do expand during the day when the sun hits them, and also contract, in other words become smaller during the night when there is cool or cooler air, okay? Now this process of expanding and contracting causes the rocks to split and also breaks apart. That's why sometimes when you go in the desert, like the rocks have cracks, okay? So this is due to what? Due to expansion and contractions that happens during the day and also during the night. Okay, like I said, this is because the heat causes the rocks to expand and contract at night as the temperature drops. So at night it's mostly cold in the desert, okay? So that's why the rocks get to contract or become smaller, okay? And during the day they expand, they become bigger. As a result, they break apart. So it's a very short lesson for today, whereby we just talked about other sources of heat and light other than the sun, whereby we named few: fire, candle, heater, solar panel, and lamps. And then we also talked about the effect of heating and its uses. What do people use heating for? Okay, so we said plants use heat, of course, to grow, and most industries use heat, and also at home we also use heat for different activities, okay? And we also introduce you to new terms: expansion and contraction. Okay, so this takes us to today's activity, which is found on page 62, activity 4.12. Okay, now number 1 says you look at those source of heat on page 62, and then you match each heat source to its source of energy. Okay, so in other words, there are pictures there of what? Of sources of heat. Okay, so what you're supposed to do, you link them to, or you match them to their source of energy. Okay, and in number 2, why do we say that the sun is the source of all heat on earth? Okay, so that's basically the activity for today. So we have come to the end of today's lesson. Remember to stay safe, stay at home, please wash your hands, and please wear a mask wherever you go so that you can help fight COVID-19. I thank you.